What's up, people? Welcome back. It's episode 2 of the Saiyan Soldier Project pod. I told you I was coming in with more guests and more episodes and more things about me in the adaptive combat sports community. And we are back with episode 2 with the guest, a fellow comic book nerd, a fellow game enthusiast, and a fellow jiu-jitsu athlete with cerebral palsy, my man, David Deadpool Lucas. David, welcome, man.
Thank
It's
you.
good to
Thank you
finally
for having me.
no problem. It's good to have you on and actually talk to you again. Now, we've talked sporadically on and off throughout the last, year and a half, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I feel you're an interesting cat, man. And like I said, you're a fellow comic nerd, you're a fellow
There,
jiu-jitsu athlete.
just look around my room. There's Deadpool stuff everywhere.
Everywhere, exactly. And that's another reason why I wanted to have you on, not just for the jiu-jitsu side of it, for the comic side of it, especially with the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer that just dropped.
Oh, dude,
It's
look, we could talk all night about that.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely get into that, man. But I wanted to talk to you about your story and your journey as a jiu-jitsu athlete and like your journey through life pretty much. I mean, you have CP just like I do, so I'm sure we have similar stories and we can definitely relate to each other as we know, as we've talked about. But like I wanted you to put it out there for the people for the people to get to know you better that don't know you already, that don't follow you on your channels.
Well, I'll start from the beginning. I was born 3 months premature. I barely weighed 2 pounds when I was born. You could literally hold me in the palm of your hand, and my entire body would fit in the palm of your hand.
Wow.
The doctors initially didn't really know. I wasn't initially diagnosed right at birth, but they basically told my parents, "Don't come back tomorrow. He won't be here."
Wow.
And here I am
That's
41 years later, and look at me now.
Right, exactly, man. That's wild how it happens to us like that. Like my story is similar. Like I was born 2 months prematurely, maybe three. And my parents were told, I would never walk, and I wasn't diagnosed right off either. I think I wasn't diagnosed until 3 months old. But
Yeah.
still, I was super small, and I had problems sitting up correctly. So 3 months later, that's how they knew that something was wrong with me, and they found out it was cerebral palsy. And then when they found that out, they told my parents that I would never walk. And here I am, 34 years later, doing jujitsu, and it pretty much saved my life, man.
Yeah, I mean, my
I,
diagnosis was pretty similar in the sense that I wasn't hitting milestones that I should have been. Like you, I wasn't able to sit up without support.
right,
And when my
exactly.
parents noticed that, they're like, okay, something's not right. And so I don't remember exactly when. I know I had my first operation at like 3 months old at the Scottish Rite Hospital in Dallas, Texas.
Got you. See, I had mine at the Children's Hospital in Seattle, Washington. I can't remember what age it was, but I know it was theirs where I had the first one because I had several there. That's incredible, man. It's incredible to me, but at the same time, I'm like, yep, I know what that like. I've been there, so I'm glad that other people get to hear it from you and know that it's rare. It's rare, but with us, we see it all the time. Like if you know cerebral palsy, you hear the same similar type stories, and that's really cool to see. And that just shows you how small the community really is for CP alone.
Obviously, I've had CP my whole life, and I think in my lifetime I've had two friends that had disabilities, and only one of them was CP.
Wow, I have several friends with several different disabilities, and only like you say, only like two or three of mine have CP.
I never grew up having a lot of friends with disabilities because I've always been kind of unique because I don't really fit in with the disabled community because I'm too active, but I don't fit in with the able bodied community because I can't do everything they can do.
That is literally my life in a nutshell, right there, man. That's exactly what I go through as well. It's
And
like,
living in the
man,
South,
it's
where what I like to refer to as the Southern pity mentality, most people look at you and go, "Oh, what can he do? Poor baby," and then shoo you on your way.
yep. Or it's the other way around where it's, oh man, that's incredible, man. The fact that you're just here is incredible. Like, yeah, I know. Like,
I guess now that I'm older, like that stuff used to bother me. And now I'm just like, when somebody says that to me, it just automatically tells me how close minded they are. I don't even waste the energy like trying to come back. It's like, all right, let them think what they're going to think. I'm
yeah.
going to show them what I can do.
Yep, exactly. Coming into training MMA and jiu-jitsu, I signed up to do an MMA fight.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work out. Doctor wouldn't let me. I had to get cleared, and we didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
They wanted me to get in the cage at the event and tell my story, and I was like, no, because at that point I was like, I'm tired of talking about it. I've talked about it enough.
Yeah.
Like, I want to actually do it, so I turned it down.
It's a little bit of
In
a double.
hindsight,
I was gonna say it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because I don't mind talking to people about it, but like you, at the same time, it's like at some point there's enough talk. Let me show you what I can do. Let's say somebody else with a disability that they're wondering, can I do combat sports? I don't mind sitting and talking with them and, explaining to them, like, okay, this is what you're going to deal with. These are some of the obstacles you're going to face.
right.
On the flip side of that, there are so many people that don't talk to you about it. They just automatically put you in a box and assume what you can or can't do.
Right, and I think that's the hardest part of being a adaptive athlete in combat sports, especially jujitsu. Because especially the first time you step on a mat, any gym you go to, you have to. It's that cycle that happens over and over again.
You've got
Oh,
to
you're
prove
rolling with.
yourself.
Yeah, that, but not only just that though, it's the cycle of, okay, you got to show this person that you're not gonna hurt me, and if you do, I will let you know. You have to convince the people at the gym to let you be an athlete.
Me and you talked about that earlier this week when I went to a local academy here. Basically, the head instructor is like, "Well, I don't know what to do for you because I've never worked with somebody with a disability." And then went as far as to say, "I'll train you, but I'm only going to do privates with you because I don't want you slowing down the rest of the class. It wouldn't be fair to them."
Wow. I was put in a similar situation. Again, we're not going to say any names here, either of
No,
us.
no, I'm not going to put anybody on blast because I don't want to give them
No,
the
no.
promotion.
Yeah, I've been put in that situation before where it's like you either have, oh, you're gonna slow this class down or you're gonna slow this person down. I've also been in the situation where it's like, you're here, let me figure out what works for you.
Right.
Let me look at it from your eyes. And that's that the gym that I'm at now. Again, I shouted them out in the first episode. Shout out to Rush MMA and Macon, man. Y'all, I
Well,
love
man,
being
I,
there.
I will give a shout out not to my first gym because it no longer exists, but definitely to the coaches from my first gym. Well, you know what? I will shout out the gym. UFC gym in Glendale, Arizona, which no longer exists, but the coaches there and the main coach, and I may pronounce his name wrong. His name is Randy Stanky. He's a professional MMA fighter. I am so grateful to have met him because he never looked at me and said, "You can't do this." It was always, "Well, let's see what you can do. And if you can't do it, let's try to adapt it or let's move on from it and focus on what you can."
Dude, I follow Randy because his kickboxing stuff is awesome.
Randy is the man. I love
Yeah.
Randy to death. I hate that I've been gone from Arizona for so long and been out of that loop because, man, I felt I had a community there and nobody treated me any differently. They knew what I could do,
Yep.
they knew what I couldn't do. Naga out west had already told me, like, yes, come do a tournament.
Yep.
And
I
here,
did.
and here
I
in central Alabama, I can't even find a gym that will let me train.
That's unfortunate, man. I wish that I need to check and see if I have some connects out there, and maybe somebody listening to this will have a connect. So if you do, please let us know, and I will get it back to David, or David can rewatch this and find it in the comments or whatever. But yeah, if anybody can help him out with that, that would be awesome. That breaks my heart for you, man, because I know how it is. It's so funny when you find that community. It's so funny having to go around different places, and then when you're with your people, like if you go, say, like if I go to a Rush event, or an event where Rush is competing or whatever, it's so funny. Like, and if I'm competing and Rush people are there, or people affiliated with the Rush, people will look at us and then blah blah blah, and then I'll start talking to the guys from my gym, and everybody kind of just turns away because they're like, oh, he's with them, oh, he's legit, and then it makes you realize how impactful having the right people around you is.
Oh, for
So
sure.
that
And
that really bothers surprising me that you can't find that there. But shout out to Randy. Shout
Shout
out
out to
to
Randy, and another name I'll drop because he's on the come up. If you follow regular MMA, and I'm speaking to the viewers, Marcus McGee, who just come up to the UFC a few months ago.
nice.
He was a guy that if he was at the gym, he was always willing to roll with me and work with me. And like I say,
Yep.
I'm so grateful to have that group of guys that are, in the UFC or have been in the UFC and were willing to take
Yep.
that chance with me and, gave me a purpose.
And that's the thing, like I've always said, you've got to surround yourself with great people if you want to succeed at anything in life. And to be able to find those people that you can surround yourself with to succeed at jujitsu as an adaptive athlete, that is so important. Since we name dropping people and giving them shout outs because they deserve their props, man. Like I said, shout out to Bubby Mitchell at Rush. Shout out to all the coaches at Rush. Actually, everybody awesome the way they treat me there. I love it. But also shout out to Cole Miller, one of the first well-known MMA athletes that I ever met that actually took an interest in my style of jiu-jitsu. I went to one of his seminars that he was teaching with one of my boys, Brian Freeman, who I promise you I will have on this podcast, who I look at as a jiu-jitsu big brother. Brian Freeman is an absolute beast. He's a spinal cord injury jiu-jitsu athlete. He's a purple belt, and that dude he's the man. Cole had Brian come in for a seminar, and a couple other instructors were there teaching. And while they were teaching, that was actually the Mike Brown seminar, one of the head coaches at ATT. So yeah, I got to learn from Mike Brown a little bit too, which was dope. And he accepted me as well, like right off the bat. Mike was teaching something that I was not 100% sure I could do. Cole comes over to me and goes, "Hey, I've been thinking about this for you. Why don't you try it?" It was a variation of the move that Mike was teaching, and it worked. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. And I didn't know Cole well at the time.
And like you said, it's all about finding that community or that person in the jiu-jitsu community that's willing to step out and work with you and adapt things.
Yeah.
And there's
That,
other guys I could shout out. Coach Shane Reed, he's a great boxing coach, but just a great coach in general. Scott Lewis, who's now I believe in West Palm Beach, Florida, always willing to work with me. Tim Welch, who is actually Sean
Tim
O'Malley's head
Welch.
coach.
Right. Tim Welch is dope. Him and Sean O'Malley have done great things, man.
Tim actually taught me jujitsu in Arizona.
Dope. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah, you told me about it.
Those guys, I appreciate them and I love them to this day, and I can't wait until I'm able to get back to Arizona and get back to training with those guys and learning from them and just absorbing whatever they have to teach me.
Right, right. I gotta give one more shout out before we move on, but shout out to
Okay.
my first coach, who I consider my first coach, my brother Jason Jenkins. Man, he was always willing to work with me under any circumstances, no matter what was going on, and that's why I've always said, like, whatever happens to me, any success that happens to me in this sport, I'm taking him with me in some way or
That's exactly how I feel about Randy. Like, wherever this journey leads me, I will always give thanks to Randy, and whatever I can do for him, I will do it.
people like that are rare in this world in general, but to have it in a space where it is highly alpha dominated
Well,
is
to have it
it's
to
very
have it in
special.
a space where the majority of people look and say we shouldn't be there.
Yeah, exactly. I've had coaches come to Jason and say, "Why are you letting him fight?" And Jason will say, "Hey, he's a grown ass man. He
Right.
wants to fight. I ain't stopping him." He's like, and yeah, there's a lot of things he needs to work on, but there's things he's good at too.
Well, to back up and give a little bit more of my story, before I got into combat sports, I actually raced ATV motocross.
That's dope, man. I've always
And
wanted
I
to
did that
be
from the time
around
I
that.
was 17 until I moved to Arizona in late 2012, early 2013. And actually, it wasn't long after I moved there, my bikes actually got stolen. And
Oh man.
because of that, that's actually what led me to look into combat sports, because at that point I was probably around 30 years old, and I'd been
Right.
racing ATV motocross since I was 17. My
Right.
body was pretty beat up, and I
Right.
would go race and it would take me until the next race for my body to recover.
Dang.
And that's just my body recovering. I've still got to worry about getting the bike back right and everything
Right.
before the next. It just got to be too much. And
Right.
don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, I love motocross. I'm an adrenaline junkie by nature.
Right. I got you.
Anything fast that I can do something stupid on, I'm all about.
Yes, sir.
But to fast forward, so my bikes got stolen in sometime in 2013. And so I at that point I was married, I had a kid from a
Hmm.
previous marriage, and I had just kind of let myself go to the point I'd ballooned up to about 170 pounds. I'm not a big guy. I'm like 5'1". So carrying
Right.
that weight on my frame with the CP meant my knees hurt all the time. I couldn't hardly walk. And I just reached a point where it's like, I've got a kid that I can't play with. Like I've got to do something. So I ended up looking into combat sports, and luckily found the UFC gym and found people there that are like, yeah, come in, let's see what you can do. We'll adapt what we can and we'll work with you. And
Yep.
now I trained from 2013 until I left Phoenix in 2016. So about 3 years, give or take a couple of months, a little bit more, a little bit less. And in that time, I went from 170 to when I left Arizona, I was probably around 120, 125.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
And that was my walk around weight. And typically I never did an actual tournament thanks to my ex-wife, because it would get to a point where I'd be cutting weight getting ready for the tournament, and 2 weeks before the tournament, oh, you can't do the tournament, we don't have the money. And
Mm,
trying to be the responsible husband and father, I would relent. I'd be like, okay.
right.
So I'd just go
Right.
back to training and be like, well, maybe I'll do the next one. And not because of just that, but needless to say, she and I are no longer together.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is like you have to. It goes back to surrounding yourself with great people.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
you. That's why it's so hard for me with dating right now. It's like I've actually built this into my career. For me, it's gonna be hard to find somebody that understands that this is what I
Well,
do. Like, and I'm trying to make it bigger.
you're right. Yeah,
So
you're
and then
basically trying to build a brand.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
And
I
then
totally get it, but because when I was in Arizona and I was training, 6 months into training, man, I was hooked. I was like,
yeah,
forget the motocross bikes. Like, I just want to do jujitsu.
right, yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
all I want to do. And my schedule, man, I would every day I would go to the gym and lift weights in the morning. And
Right,
then every other day I would train jujitsu. So like on Monday, I'd go to the gym in the morning and I'd get there around 8 o'clock in the morning because I had to take my son to school. I'd lift
right,
weights from about 8 to 11 and do cardio. I would leave, I'd go home, I'd eat lunch, take a nap, pick my kid up from school, do homework with him. As soon as the
mm,
ex-wife walked in the door at 5:30, I walked back out the door at 6, headed back
right,
to the gym, and I would be at the gym from 6 at night till about 9:30, 10 o'clock every night training jujitsu. I would take Fridays off because there was no jujitsu class on
right.
Fridays. And I told the ex-wife, like, all right, if you want to go to dinner or do anything, plan it for Friday night. I will always keep Friday night free for us to do whatever you want to do. Saturday there was beginner jujitsu, which I would always go to just for the open mat afterwards.
Yep.
And then I would go to open mat on Sunday from about 10:30 or 11 till about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, it
And that
literally consumed my life.
which is good, but also like I think you were kind of alluding to it. You have to find that balance. Like
Yeah,
and that
and
and the
obviously for me and my ex-wife, we were never able to find that balance. I never will
right,
forget one of the last tournaments I was going to try to do. I went to her and we had already been on pretty rocky ground. And I was like,
mhm,
"Hey, this tournament's coming up. I really want you and our son to be there. Will you come?" And she
right.
looked me dead in my eyes and said, "MMA and combat sports is stupid and retarded, and anyone who does it is stupid and retarded." And my response to her, well, this marriage is over.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you can't be in a marriage where people are shattering your dreams and shitting on your dreams like that.
Yeah,
It's
but
yeah.
like I was talking about, since I've come back to Alabama, I did a little bit of training with 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Mobile. But
Hmm.
being that 10th Planet focuses a lot on leg locks and things like that, well, I'm gimpy and my legs don't really work. They're just kind of there.
Right.
But, with it being a primarily a leg based system, more so than the Gracie system, there wasn't a lot for me to do. So, I mean, I would go there and I'd be there for 2 or 3 hours. Man, I might get 15 or 20 minutes worth of work in. And I'm like, why am I sitting here for 3 hours?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm
Exactly.
barely breaking a sweat.
There. There was a time where I was at a gym where from the time I got there, I was stuck in a corner doing drills that granted I needed to do, but I
Yeah,
wasn't there to do them for a whole class. There came a point where I just said, this isn't for me. And I knew where else I could go where I felt like I was going to get something out of it. So I did. So yeah, you coming off of 10th Planet, Alabama, and talk. Let's finish your statement on that, and then we'll go back into the next thing that I was gonna mention to you.
yeah. By no means am I knocking 10th Planet. They're a great gym. What I would say is that someone with physical limitations, that system of jujitsu, depending on your disability and how it affects you, that may not be the best option for you if you're looking at getting into combat sports. All the guys I trained with there are great guys and were always very helpful. It's just the system itself wasn't conducive with my limited use and flexibility in my lower extremities.
Right, right. And that's just to piggyback off that, like in no way, shape, or form are we knocking these past places that we've been to and the experiences that we've had. And we also have to mention, everybody's disability is different. And so, some things may work, some places may work for certain people and certain disabilities. It just didn't work out for us.
Right.
Like most everybody I trained at that one gym that I was at is great people. Some of them I still talk to this day, and I love a bunch of them to death. It's you just gotta find your groove, especially if you have a disability. Find what works for your body, and that you
Right.
can listen to your body and tell.
Yeah, and without that, you're not going to get far. You've got
Yeah,
to have that first and foremost.
exactly. You have to have an understanding of your body and then show that to someone else and then they can figure out the mechanics of jujitsu that work for you.
Uh,
If they're willing to help you, they're going to figure out the mechanics of jujitsu that work for you
right,
based on your body and how you tell them it works.
right, and you're correct about them working with you and figuring out the mechanics. But I will say, for me also, my coach had a full class of able-bodied students to teach as well at the same time. So I spent a lot of time with the grappling dummy, just trying things on my own
Right.
and then reporting back to him like, okay, this worked, this didn't, maybe we can do this, or giving him that information so he can adjust
Yep.
what we're working on.
And like you said, you could either have the grappling dummy, or you can have great training partners. And I'm sure you've had plenty. I've
Oh
had
yeah.
plenty.
I,
A lot of the time, what happens is we'll show the move. The move will get showing what we're doing, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll let you drill it on me first because I need to mentally play with it a little bit to see if it works.
right,
And
yeah.
then when it's my turn to do it, I'll do my variation and see if it works, and then report it back to the coach. Let them watch it, and then be like, yeah, that works. Or they'll be like, hey, what if you move this way or put this your arm here or your foot here, see if that works. And then if it works, we stick with it and let me run that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a lot of little things like the slightest adjustment in body
Oh
position.
yeah.
For me, with not having very good balance, I don't spend a lot of time trying to stay vertical.
Right.
So when I lock up with somebody, I tend to immediately just roll to my back and
Right.
work from my back because then in my mind, I'm like, okay, I don't have to hold myself up or maintain my balance and try to wrestle.
Right. I think that's where one of the few places where me and you differ because we've discovered in doing this podcast we have a lot of similarities. But I think this is one of the few places where we differ because I want to be on top. I don't want to work off my back because my
See,
hips are so limited.
well,
So I
yeah, but again, for me, it's the balance thing. If I'm on top or I'm vertical, then I've got to factor in, okay, I've got to worry about staying this way with
right.
bad balance on top of trying to get this guy in a position to manipulate.
Right.
So
See,
if I can go to my back, that's one less thing in the equation I got to worry about.
right.
I can play off whatever he's doing. My main go to is a Kimura.
Right, that's one of my go-tos as well.
I'm
Yes, I've got several sneaky Kimuras and arm bars that
right, but I'm pulling the
people don't
Kimura
usually
from the
see.
bottom.
Yeah, I like pulling Kimura from the bottom if I can get it
I like that, and I like the head and arm triangle.
off the bottom.
Let's say you're like in half guard.
Right.
And then you pull your leg out and you're laying beside them and you wrap your arm around their head and lay your ear to their ear and just
Yep, I've
squeeze.
done that. Yep. That's one of my go-tos as well.
I love that. That is my
Yep,
favorite.
that was one of the things a lot of people said when I wrestled in high school was like, if he ever gets to grab you, do not let him squeeze.
Oh,
Like
well,
I've heard coaches say that to their kids, and I've heard my teammates have said that in practice. Like it's so wild to me how even though we have our limitations with our disability, like there's benefits in jujitsu to it. Like my grips are so strong because it's from walking on crutches for 19 years of my life,
well,
18 years of my life.
I mean,
So
well,
like,
that's like with me. Like, I started out walking on a walker, so I was holding
right.
myself up on a walker. I transitioned to two crutches, and now I
Right.
just walk with one crutch.
Me
Like, let's
too.
say I get down in the floor. Well, I'm using my upper body to pull myself back up. And when I initially started training, the nickname that was originally given to me by my coaches was Pitbull, and that was
Right.
because if I ever got a hold to you, I wasn't letting go
Right. Yeah.
because
Exactly.
I had a death grip and I was not gonna let go. I would
Yep.
hold you till you wore yourself out.
I'm just gonna say this from a friendly, competitive standpoint. It would be fun to roll with you.
When it happens, I'm not even gonna say if. When it happens, there will be video, and we will put it on both of our channels.
For sure. For sure. That thinking about it is like, man, I want to test myself against you
Dude,
just to see what it's like.
if we went right now, you gonna kick my ass. I ain't been on the mats in 7 years.
Yeah, that's wild, man. I
There,
couldn't do
look,
it.
it bugs me, but because of the experience I've had here in Alabama, basically being told no repeatedly, I've kind of reserved myself to like, all right, I've just got to wait till I can figure out how to get back to Arizona.
Right.
Because the guys
Yeah.
in Arizona know what I can do. They're not worried about me suing them if I get hurt. I mean, I used to race motocross. I know the risk. I mean, I used to get on a bike and risk my life every week.
That was the first time I ever competed in a cage. It was a grappling match, but that was because I knew here in Georgia they weren't going to let me do MMA, and so I went to the promoter because some of my teammates were fighting on that card, and I knew it was a local card, so I wanted to get on it. So I was like, "Screw it, let me see if I can ask for a grappling match." So I went to the promoter or the matchmaker, and I was like, "Look, I know what I'm asking you." I said, I'm making the same conscious decision that everybody else that wants to step in there is making. All I'm asking for is one opportunity. Lo and behold, I got to do it twice. Both awesome experiences. Look, we're gonna wrap it up here soon, but I definitely wanted to talk to you about some more of the other things you do, like your comic books. We got to talk comic books for a little bit, man, because
Okay, yeah.
that's one of
Look,
my loves.
you say comic books. I'm just gonna say geek stuff in general.
Good. I'm glad you said that because that gives me way more options to talk to you
Right,
about.
right. Well, I'll be honest. I've got some comic books, but I'm not real big on the comic books. If
Yep.
you look behind me, like right over here, I have a bunch of
Yeah.
Funkos. If you go
Yeah.
in
I
my
see him.
video game room, I have a large collection of diecast cars. You
Nice.
see, I've got
Nice.
the Deadpool Jason mask.
Right. I
Basically,
love that.
anything to do with Deadpool, I've probably got it.
Deadpool is like one of my. He's probably like he's definitely in my top five. He might be top three favorite characters of all time. In my adulthood, he is definitely top three. So I
Well,
definitely wanted to talk to you about.
I've got the name David Deadpool Lucas. I mean, so you know where he ranks on my list. It's not
Right.
a big mystery. And I earned that name because one day I was grappling with my coach and he had me in a bad position. And really,
Right.
with my limited mobility, there was no way I was going to get out of it. So, dude,
Right.
I'm just laying there talking mad shit. And that's where it wasn't long. And this was right around the time the first first Deadpool movie was coming out. And he said right then and there, like, all right, you're Deadpool.
Dope.
And believe it, and I haven't announced this on my channels or anything, but there are
Wait,
plans
are
in.
we about to get breaking news? Are
Yes,
we
you're
about to get
getting
breaking
breaking
news?
news. Now,
Oh, heck yeah.
I don't know how soon this will happen because it's not cheap, but I am in the process of legally changing my name to David Deadpool Lucas. So that will be my legal name.
That is awesome. Well, you heard it here first, folks, on Saiyan Soldier Project Pod. This man is about to legally change his name to David Deadpool Lucas.
So then you must refer to me as Deadpool.
I like
So
it.
don't know when that'll happen, but that is in the works. I have all the paperwork. I've just got to come up with the money.
Right.
Outside of the jiu-jitsu, I have a gaming channel where I stream on Twitch and I upload
Awesome.
those live streams to YouTube. I do a lot of racing games on there, and that will actually lead to the next thing. And the reason I do that content is because I have another channel where I'm turning my 2015 Camaro into a track day car to go run road courses all over the US and
So
race
you're
competitively.
wow. So basically, you basically are genuinely Deadpool.
I am basically Deadpool. I'm
Like,
Deadpool with a prettier face.
hey, there it is.
Not
Look
much
at that.
prettier, but prettier.
You are an awesome cat, and like I say, it eventually it will be an honor to roll with you for sure, for sure.
Look,
When it happens,
I'm
we're
putting it
gonna say
out.
when.
I'm putting it out into the universe. It's not if, it's when.
When exactly, exactly. This is the question I gotta ask before we get off here.
Okay, shoot.
Deadpool trailer, Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. Your thoughts? I gotta get it.
Okay, honest opinion, I feel like they're trying to cram too much into one movie because you've heard all the rumors. We know Wolverine's going to be in it. We know not Beast, what's the other? I feel like they're trying to cram a bunch of Marvel characters into this one movie and I feel
They
like they're
are.
trying to do too much in a single movie.
I can't say that just yet because I'm not 100% sure where it's going. I know they are cramming a bunch of people in it, but I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most is because it's supposed to be complete chaos because it wouldn't be Deadpool without it. So
Right.
I'm kind of looking forward to that.
But I
Right.
think Disney, with all the bad movies they've done up to this point, they've kind of
Right.
painted themselves into a corner where, like they said in the Deadpool trailer, Deadpool is basically Marvel Jesus at this point.
Yeah, that was that was the most wild line I like that blew my mind. I could not help but laugh, and I think you're right. I think they are definitely looking at it to be. I'm not gonna say the Disney savior for sure, but absolutely they are looking for it to be the Marvel savior. But we will see how it turns out.
They've got to do something.
They definitely have to do something. I will agree
But
with that.
But I think banking on the third Deadpool film to do that, I think it's too little too late. Deadpool 2, maybe. The original Deadpool, all day, every day.
Right? Yeah, I would
I
agree.
think it's so far gone now. I don't know that this third Deadpool will be the redeemer that they're hoping it will be.
I think they want it to be, and like you say, I'm not too sure that it will be. I know it will be a great film, and that is the main thing I'm looking forward to the most is it being a great film because we know it is because we know Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have that chemistry,
Oh,
and we know how Deadpool and Wolverine feel about each other. So to see them two characters play it out is gonna be hilariously a bunch of fun, and I
Oh,
cannot wait.
it's gonna be a ton of fun for sure. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like, dude, I've already got my outfit picked out for the night I go see it. I've got a Deadpool football jersey.
I think I did see that.
I
That's
actually
cool.
like I saw them years ago and never bought it and then kicked myself for not buying it. Then I found it on eBay for like 13 bucks. I'm like, I gotta have it.
You got to absolutely. I don't know if you've seen it on my social media or whatever, but I actually bought a Deadpool rash guard and spats specifically for the movie. But I was like, cool, I have a Deadpool rash guard and spats. I'm gonna wear the crap out of this, and I
Is
did
it
for
from
I
an
don't know how many.
Australian company?
I don't think it's from an Australian company. So yeah, before we close this out, I want to ask our guest, Mr. David, what about his what I'm gonna call the SS3. the Saiyan Soldier 3, SS3, Super Saiyan 3, Saiyan Soldier 3. We keeping with the theme here. So my question for you, David, is gonna be, and this is gonna be a weekly segment that the topic changes. But for today, since we are talking adaptive combat sports and we were talking jujitsu specifically, I wanted to know, David, your top three places to go train and learn jujitsu. If you Your top three dream places to go learn jujitsu, and
Okay.
your top three instructors you would want to learn from in jujitsu.
Okay. Well, let's start with the locations. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go historic, and I'm gonna say I want to go to Japan, Japanese
Oh,
Jiu-Jitsu, where it all originated.
right.
Okay.
I
Number
can
one.
definitely understand that.
Number two, want to go to Brazil, Rio de
Yes,
Janeiro.
sir. Yes,
The
sir.
beach, Jiu-Jitsu, life gets no better.
Yep, yep. I got you there.
My third place would be I want to go to California, the Gracie Academy in my top three.
Heck yeah, Henry Gracie, that would be amazing. I would. He's definitely on my list of top jujitsu instructors for sure. I
Yeah,
don't know if I would put him on my top three. He's definitely in my top five of instructors I want to learn from.
and to answer
Absolutely,
the second question, he would be in my top three instructors.
absolutely, gotcha.
Just to learn from the Gracie lineage.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
to answer the second part though, about the instructors. So, top three instructors, obviously, as we just mentioned, Henry Gracie. The second one, and this may surprise some people, Matt Serra.
Hey, shout out to Matt Serra. I actually got to be at a seminar with Matt Serra and got to train under him a little bit. It was dope.
Dude, that sounds awesome. We'll have to talk
It was
about that sometime. Third, I mean, there's so many you could choose. I mean, you've got Damian Maya. And I wouldn't necessarily say instruction, just somebody I'd like to get the opportunity to roll with. Mackenzie Dern.
wait, wait. For professional purposes or otherwise?
Are we allowed to answer that on this podcast?
we won't. All right.
I,
So
I,
top three
I'll let
places.
the audience decide. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Yeah, yeah. That let's use that judgment there. That's a good idea. I can't blame you though.
Well, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of guys, especially UFC guys, that, I would love to learn under. And that's just my top three. I've got a whole, like, there's an instructor in Arizona that owns a predominant MMA gym in the Phoenix area. I look
Hey,
forward to the day I go back to Arizona and can train under him.
right. I think
And
I
I've already been
understand.
told that when I get back there that I can. First, give me your top three places to train.
My top three places. All right, I'm gonna do this
Okay.
starting with number three. Number three, I think would have to be American Top Team in Florida. Even like I said, I've got to do a Mike Brown seminar, but to go there and train under all of those guys would be freaking amazing. Two would be Japan, Japanese Jiu Jitsu. My wrestling coach was also a Japanese Jiu Jitsu black belt, and I got to learn under him. And we also started Brazilian jiu-jitsu thing here years back. That would be amazing to do. And then my number one is obviously Brazil. I've said that from day one when I started training. I want to go to Brazil and train there at
Look,
least once.
I don't. You ask any jujitsu guy that's serious about it. I think we all want to go to Brazil and learn.
Absolutely, I think you're
I
100%
think that's
correct.
pretty universal.
Yeah, I would agree.
What about your top three instructors you want to learn from?
My top three instructors, I'm gonna do that in the same order. My third one, and I'm not gonna say he's a jujitsu master, but like as far as MMA goes,
Mm-hmm.
Uriah Faber.
Nice.
Uriah Faber, like I don't know why, it's something about that guy, like his wrestling that took him to prominence in MMA, and then that guillotine. Something about his jujitsu with that guillotine is I need to learn that.
Yeah, we both do.
Two, I would probably say Damian Maya. He's so slick. Yeah,
Dude, just the way he moves, like it's so fluid.
no, let me. I take that back. I take
Okay.
that back. I'm not gonna say Damian Maya. Charles Oliveira. You talk about being in some tight situations and being able to get out, and then sticking with the Gracie lineage. I'm gonna go Jean Jacques Machado because for people who don't know, he was born with his own disability. He was born with a thumb and a little finger on his right hand, I believe it is. So he had to develop his own game himself and came up with his own style of jujitsu So I would love to pick his brain to see how he could see how to use my body in a way that he kind of had to do for himself. Could he translate what he did for himself? I would love to do that.
That would be awesome.
It would be, man. It would be. Well, David, this has been a lot of fun. We've talked for a good time. It was amazing. We definitely have to have you on for more episodes, and we absolutely will. Mr. David, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on social media, my friend?
All right, on social media, for anything jiu-jitsu related, it's going to be Gimpy Grappler or the Gimpy Grappler. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook, it's actually David Deadpool Lucas, aka the Gimpy Grappler. And I'll put links to that down in the description below.
Yep.
For all of my car content on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you can find me at Speedy Gimp 313. And last but
Gotcha.
not least, my gaming channel, all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch is all Gimpy Gamer 313.
Hey, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Saiyan Soldier Project Pod Episode 2 with Mr. David Deadpool Lucas.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me. Look forward to
Yes,
doing it
sir.
again.
All right, David. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you later. Peace out.